Hello friends, welcome back to another studio vlog. If this is your first time here, my name's Heather. I'm the owner of Charming Chapters, which is a small bookish business located in North Dakota. And this week we are going to be continuing to work on our new Kindle case inserts. If you've watched the last couple vlogs, you'll know we have started the process of bringing in some new products to the shop. And last week we started making Kindle case inserts. Over the weekend, we did have more supplies arrive that we were needing to finish those. So we are going to be working on those this week. And fingers crossed that our Cameo is finally going to arrive. If you haven't watched one of the vlogs in the last couple weeks, we've been having some troubles getting a Cameo. I originally ordered a Cameo 4, which has been discontinued, and I had received 2 Cameo 5s, and I had to send them back, and it's been a whole ordeal. So if you want to see more, go back and watch the last couple weeks vlogs. But anyways, hopefully that's going to show up this week, and then we can start making some magnetic bookmarks and making stickers and regular bookmarks in-house. So fingers crossed that'll arrive and we can start that process this week too. But before we start on any of that, we need to work on some orders that came in over the weekend. It looks like we had 5 book sleeves. We're going to need to sew those up today. And then we have a couple orders that didn't have book sleeves, so we'll be packing those as well. So before we start on any of the new merchandise, we are going to get your book sleeves done and then orders all packed up, and then I'll get those mailed off for you. So let's get started. All the book sleeves are sewn up, so we are going to pack orders. And I don't know if you can see right over here, the Cameo just showed up, so maybe we'll test that a little bit tomorrow, definitely sometime this week. But I do want to get the Kindle case inserts done because I know you guys are really excited for those, so we can get those launched, and then we'll do a little practice making some stickers and magnetic bookmarks and all that fun stuff. So let's pack up the orders, and then we're going to move on to the Kindle case inserts. we have orders packed, we are going to start on those Kindle cases. So I'm going to continue printing some of the designs that we didn't get to last week, and then we're also going to start putting the clear plastic film on the back of the ones that we already printed. If you watched last week's studio vlog, I did mention that that was on the way. So now that it's finally here, we can finish up the Kindle cases, get them cut down, and then get the corners rounded. So let's work on that. Alright friends, that's going to be it for today. Tomorrow we're going to keep working on those Kindle case inserts and try and get those wrapped up. And then as soon as we get that finished, we're going to work on setting up this new Cameo. So we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Hello friends, it is actually Wednesday afternoon. Yesterday morning I was headed into town to run some errands and drop orders off at the post office, and I started having some pressure in my chest and a hard time breathing, so I ended up going to the walk-in clinic, and they didn't find anything yesterday, but I do have to follow up with my regular primary care doctor next week. And so I was just pretty exhausted by the time I got home yesterday, so I just took the day off, just rested and didn't do a whole lot. And this morning I've just been printing out more of the Kindle insert sheets, so we are going to be working on cutting those and rounding on the corners this afternoon. So just gonna be another relaxing day in the studio, just until we kind of figure out what's going on. I don't want to overdo it or anything. AFib does run in my family, so we're wondering if maybe it's not that. It also could be something to do with my allergy medicines that I just switched over to. I was just doing like the regular stuff that you can get at like Target, Walmart, stuff like that. And I recently picked up the stuff with the decongestant that you get at the pharmacy, and the decongestant can interact with your heart. So anyways, until we figure out what's going on, we're just gonna kind of take things easy the next few days. Like I said, we're just gonna finish up the Kindle inserts today. I did work on them for just a tiny bit yesterday just because I wanted to do something productive, but I didn't get very far on those. So we're gonna finish those up today, and then I just had some fabric arrive for some orders that I've been waiting on, so we might start on that this afternoon. If not, we're gonna get that cut tomorrow morning and work on book sleeves for those orders. So like I said, we're going to work on cutting the Kindle cases down, or Kindle inserts down now, and then we'll round the corners too. Friends, that's going to be it for today. Luna is getting wound up here, and my printer is leaving little black splotches, so I'm gonna have to do some troubleshooting, and we all know how good I am at that. So we're gonna call it for the day and see if I can get this figured out. We'll catch you guys again tomorrow when we're working on those book sleeves. Good morning, friends. Happy Thursday. I'm a little stuffy because I can't be using the allergy medicine with the decongestant because we think that's what's affecting my heart the last few days here. So sorry if I'm a little stuffy today. We're just gonna have to go with it, unfortunately. This morning I took my husband over to the field. They're still combining. They started on soybeans a couple weeks ago, which we actually think is why my allergies are so bad. I think I'm really allergic to soybeans. Anyways, I dropped him off in the field this morning, and on our way there we saw a bald eagle sitting in the tree. So that was really cool. And then of course there's the usual wildlife around here right now. We've got pheasants and ducks, so there were tons of those too. So it's been a good morning. Good to see some cool wildlife. So This morning we are going to be working on book sleeves. We had some fabric arrive. I actually had 3 orders of fabric that I'm waiting on. So the first one was lost in transit. Unfortunately, it's like an hour and a half away from here where it got lost, which is terrible because it's so close and it's been stuck there for the last like 7 days. So Sarah, I know you like to watch the studio vlogs. That's the order that I'm still waiting on. I just reached out to my manufacturer and they are going to send a new batch of that order. So it should be here hopefully next week. And then we'll get your sleeves made up that you're waiting on. As for the second order, that is the one that just arrived and I was able to get that washed and dried yesterday. So we're going to be working on that today. Kelly and Melissa, if you guys are watching this week, that is the batch that your orders were in for the library cards. So we're going to work on those today. And then there is another batch on the way also. I've had a few requests for some custom orders and some things that have been sold out lately. So got a few different batches on the way. Later today, once we get the orders all packed up, we might start cutting down some of the other fabric that came in the second order and get some of that stuff restocked. If we don't get to that today, then we'll probably work on that tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to work on editing last week's studio vlog, which was a little bit shorter one just because I was having some troubles with my printer last week. So now that we've got all that situated, we can continue working on the Kindle inserts, which I actually did finish up last night. I let my printer sit for a little bit and I did some cleaning maintenance with it and it was printing normal again. So I had like 10 Kindle inserts left. So I did get those done. Let me grab them here. So these are all of the inserts that it'll focus here, that we've been working on the last few days. I don't know how many there are. There's got to be like 40, 50 of them, but they are all officially done. So these are all designs that I already had made up. And some of them are actually new ones. Like this one, I had made up for a bookmark earlier this year and ended up not printing it with the bookmarks. And I just thought it was super cute. So that one I turned into a Kindle case. I think that's the only one that I haven't shown before. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of prints, like some of the book sleeve designs that we've had before. And we've got some seasonal ones. So we've got like our bookshelf design, the seasonal one. And then I also have holographic ones. They've got little stars. Of course, I can't find one now. Oh, here we go. There we are. Here's a couple of them. So these ones have little stars. I don't know if it'll, oh, there we go. They've got little star holographics on them and I thought that would be really cute. So on most of these, I'll have the option to have either just the plain glossy or to have the star holographic. Some of them I won't offer the holographic just because it doesn't go very well with the print or it won't match very well. Then if somebody does want to have the holographic stars and they'll just have to reach out and then I'll just make up a custom listing for you. So this is probably going to be a project that we're going to work on the next few days here too. I want to get photos of everything and get those on Etsy and the website that you guys can start ordering those. So I don't know if we'll work on that tomorrow as well or maybe this weekend. We also need to get the new cameo set up, but I think I might wait till this weekend to do that. It's supposed to be rainy Saturday and Sunday, so there's a good chance my husband's going to be home and he is definitely more tech savvy than I am. We know how savvy my tech skills are, as you can tell by watching the last few studio vlogs. We're probably gonna wait for him to help me set up that cameo, and that way if I have any issues, he is here to help me. But we'll hopefully get that set up here too because I want to test out making magnetic bookmarks as well as sticker sheets and just regular stickers too. I want to be able to print those in-house here. And then having the cameo is also going to give me some options for our advent boxes. I can do some more custom stuff. So that's going to be really exciting too. But anyways, we're going to get started on cutting the fabric for the book sleeves. In case you haven't watched one of the studio vlogs before, my custom fabric comes in a yard and then we cut it down and steam it. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to cut the inside lining fabric for the sleeves and the foam. And then we're going to get to sewing. I think there are 4 book sleeves we need to sew today, so it shouldn't take too terribly long. Might be able to get them over to the post office before they close today. They're only open from 1 to 3 during the week, so we'll try and get it over there before they close. If not, I'll get it sent out right away. So let's get started on those book sleeves. Also, we're almost finished listening to Empire of Storms. It looks like we've got about an hour and 27 minutes left, so we'll be finishing that up today. My friend is starting to catch up to me with her reading with the Throne of Glass series. She is on book 3 3 right now, I believe. Sounds like she's kind of in the middle of it. She's getting introduced to all of the fun characters, as I call them, some of my favorite characters. So it's been really fun to chat with her about that the last few days. She's always asking for pictures of the characters too, just because some of them are a little bit hard to visualize. So it's been really fun to send her pictures of like Rowan and Adian, and then she was asking about the wyverns, so I sent some pictures over that. So that's been really fun, just to have somebody to kind of do a buddy read almost, even though I'm cruising ahead of her because I can listen to audiobooks all day long. You know, she just reads in between work and the kids and stuff. So but yeah, we should finish up Empire of Storms today, and then we'll be moving on to the next book. Okay, we're done sewing book sleeves, and we've also started the next book, which is Tower of Dawn in the Throne of Glass series, so about an hour into that as well. So while we're listening to that, we are going to pack up all the orders, and there might be enough time to run them over to the post office today too, so we'll see if we can get them packed in time. as you can see, Luna and I made it over to the post office in time to get everything mailed out today. She is currently laying on the floor here chewing on a bone, so if you can hear her, that's just her chewing. Now we've got a few hours left of the day, so I think we're gonna work on that fabric that I mentioned earlier today. So we're gonna get that cut into strips, we're gonna steam that, cut it down even further, get them added to inventory, because I know a few people have been waiting on a few things that have been out of stock, so we'll get them added to inventory, and then we'll see how much time we have left for the day. Okay friends, we got all of those sleeves added to Etsy and the website, so those are all done and ready to go. As you can hear, Luna is ready to go play outside. So we're gonna call it for the day. Tomorrow morning I'm gonna finish up last week's studio vlog and get that posted, and then as soon as I'm done with that, then we'll be back in the studio. It looks like we did just have 2 more orders come in for book sleeves, so we're gonna work on sewing those up tomorrow, and then we'll see what other projects we can get done. Hello friends, happy Friday. It's about 12:30 right now. I just posted last week's studio vlog, so that is officially live for you guys to watch. And I also had a quick bite to eat for lunch, so all ready to work for the afternoon. It looks like we had a few orders come in, so we have, looks like 4 that we're going to be packing here shortly. There are 2 book sleeves need to sew, so I'm going to sew those up real quick. I probably won't film the cutting of the fabric and the sewing for you guys just because it's what we did earlier this week and I don't want you guys to get bored. So I will sew those up real quick and then we'll be back. All right, book sleeves are sewn, so next up we are going to pack orders. Now that we have all the orders packed, we are actually going to take some photos of the new Kindle case inserts. We're going to try and do it today. I'm not sure how the photos are going to turn out. Normally I don't do photos this late in the day just because of the sunlight. So we'll take a bunch, see how they turn out. If we need to redo them, then we'll do that next week. But we'll take as many as we can for now. Okay, all the Kindle cases are officially photographed. There were 72 designs. 72. I didn't realize there were that many in that stack. So that is crazy. I'm thinking we might release those next Friday, which that would be October 10th, if I can get them done in time. Fingers crossed. If I don't release them that day, I'll leave a little note on the screen here for you guys, just letting you know that I didn't get them done in time. Next week, I've got my appointment for follow-up after my episode, we'll call it this week, where I was having some pressure in my lungs and a hard time breathing. So that is next Wednesday, Thursday? What day is that? Next Wednesday. So I'll be a little late starting on work that day. So we'll try and get everything done next week. Whenever we do release those, we're also going to be doing the spooky scoops, as I mentioned, I think it was last week's studio vlog. It will be kind of similar to our oops scoops if you haven't seen those before. Basically we have these little spheres that have a little paper inside, and they've got different things like bookmarks, acrylic bookmarks, Kindle charms, stickers, different things like that. And they were in these little spheres, and they were in a basket, and I would scoop them, and they were all seconds items, so things that were just slightly flawed, had misprints, things like that. But anyways, I'm thinking we're going to do the spooky scoops about the same time, and those are going to be all fall Halloween items. So whenever we launch the new Kindle inserts, we'll be doing those as well. So I'll have more details on that soon. Like I said, if it's not going to be next Friday when this vlog goes live, I'll leave a little caption on the screen here for you guys. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. Believe it or not, it's almost 5 o'clock. I did a lot of stuff today. So I'm going off to make some supper, and it is supposed to get really cold this weekend. Like today the high was 85 and the high for Sunday is 58. And they're talking freezing that night, so we're probably gonna have some frost. So I need to go take care of my plants and my flowers outside. Last night I did pick the last of our vegetables in the garden, sadly. I'm gonna miss having those. I took Luna out a little bit ago, and it was just strange. I didn't get to look through my plants. There weren't any vegetables to look for or pick or anything, so I'm gonna miss that over the winter. That was kind of a fun hobby this year, having the garden for the first time. So but yeah, I'm off to do a few chores before it rains and gets all gloomy and cold this weekend. So this weekend, fingers crossed, if it does rain, fingers crossed my husband will be home, and then we can hopefully get the Cameo set up. If we do decide to do that this weekend, I'll film a little bit of that and I'll put it in next week's video for you. So fingers crossed we can get that going. It's been something we've been wanting to do and I've been mentioning. So yeah, that's gonna be the end of this week's studio vlog. Also, I know it's kind of a crazy, hectic week, but I hope you enjoyed everything nonetheless. Last week was kind of hectic too, just fighting with the printer and everything. But if you did enjoy the content, I do hope you stick around and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And if you like this week's vlog, please give it a thumbs up. It just helps to share this video with other people who might be interested in watching it too. So we'll catch you guys again next week. We're gonna be sewing some book sleeves. It looks like we did have an order come in for 5, so there wasn't enough time to sew those today, so we're gonna catch those up on Monday. You can hear Luna down here wanting to play. Anyways, we'll catch up on all of those things next week, and hopefully we will be launching the Kindle case inserts too. So we'll catch you guys again next week. Bye for now.